Hello, I am Kathy Ware with the Caregiver Support Program in Howard County. As important as getting it done is, honestly, for most caregivers, it can feel like another thing on their plate, something they will get to when they can. And I get it. For more reasons than we have time to talk about today, for caregivers, it can feel like an exhaustive task and one they don't have time for. The important thing to remember is that by preparing for the future, we can ease our stress now and going forward. This week, many of my esteemed colleagues are providing vital information, guidance, and resources to assist you in your journey, not only as a caregiver, but for your future as well. They will be talking about financial and long-term planning, retirement living, health insurance basics, advanced care, and important things like wills, trusts, power of attorney, and estate processes. The conflict resolutions will also be discussed, and conflict resolution is something we all encounter on our journey. There's also a misconception that making these plans are only important if you have a certain means, an amount of income or assets to plan. This truly is a misconception for many, but we all need to plan for our future, no matter what our means are. In working with caregivers and families, the thing I want them to remember most is knowing our loved ones' desires and preparing for their financial health and related directives, along with living and care supports, gives our loved ones the comfort and dignity they deserve and gives caregivers the peace of mind they deserve. There truly is peace in a plan. My purpose today is to remind caregivers of how important that plan is for you and for your loved one. Another topic we will discuss, which is just as important as taking care of yourselves. First, let's talk about who caregivers are. Then we can get back to what seems like that overwhelming task of planning. Rosalind Carter said it best. There are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are caregivers, who will need caregivers, and those who will be caregivers. The role of caregiver affects all of us at some point in our lives, whether we receive care or give care. There is no stereotypical version of a caregiver. There are friends, spouses, adult children, parents, neighbors, assisting individuals of all ages, races, ethnicities, and abilities, with varying degrees of care. Caregiving is truly a journey. No one is on the same path in the same place at the same time. And there's a lot to consider. And that is what becomes the overwhelming part of caregiving. While living out our daily lives, balancing family, health, work, etc., we are directing or providing care for another while living our lives. This list probably just scratches the surface of everything most caregivers need to consider. Everything from coordinating the care and communicating with those providing care, safety, living arrangements, managing medications, on down to directives, while you are balancing work and family and trying to self-care. COVID-19 has put a wrench in many of the plans we had for ourselves and our loved ones. Caregivers are providing more care under more stressful life circumstances. Although we may feel like taking care of ourselves and preparing for the future seem daunting, it is more important than ever. I encourage you to take the time to get things done, and most importantly, care for yourself. If we do not care for ourselves and decline in mind, body, or spirit, where does that leave the people that we care for? We learn from our journeys in life, and they help us to prepare for the next one. So while we are assisting others, we learn, plan, and adjust our own path. I included this image to remind us to look ahead. We usually don't know what is next. What makes it even more important to stay a step ahead and to plan for the future. This entire week-long series is about planning ahead. No one really does well in crisis mode. Although these are uncertain times and navigating surfaces can be more difficult than usual, it can be done. all of our county organizations, including the Office on Aging and Independence, are up and running and there to give us assistance. Now more than ever, we are feeling stressed. We are feeling frustrated and isolated. Knowing we have supports in place for ourselves and our loved ones can ease that fear of the unknown. And you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. Many times we put things off because we feel we have to have it all figured out in order to act. Well, you don't. We are here to walk the journey with you, as well as all other community partners presenting this week and numerous other community partners in Howard County. They're all ready and willing to assist. I encourage you to reach out to the Office on Aging and Independence and ask who to contact about a resource or assistance that you need. Maryland Access Point is a great place to start. Easy number, which I'll reflect on later in my presentation, 410-313-1234. Or you can call me, Kathy Ware, and my number is later in the presentation as well. Within the Caregiver Support Program, we have the National Family Caregiver Grant. This grant is focused on supporting on a short-term basis with supplemental services or respite, but just as importantly, to assess a caregiver's needs and burden in order to help them create a plan to support both themselves and their loved one. As you can see, we provide various supports. We provide information about available services, assistance gaining access to those services, individual counseling, support groups, and there are different eligibility guidelines for assistance. One of the most important supports our program offers is the one-on-one interactive caregiver assessment. We want to know your specific needs, your preferences, because as I said before, no one is on the same journey at the same place at the same time. Caregiver support groups can be very, very helpful. One of the most important supports that our program offers are support groups. It connects us with others and is essential to our health and well-being. Knowing that we're not alone can make a huge difference. It prevents us from anxiety, depression, and even a weaker immune system. A support group can help us develop coping skills. Just talking with others and being able to express how we feel from someone that is unbiased. It increases our own awareness and it gives us a safe space to ease our stress. In support groups, you also get specific tips and information from people who have walked the path. And you get to share what you've learned. A good support group does many things. It serves your needs. It is run by a peer or a trained facilitator. It promises you support and not cures. And it promotes your respect and privacy. You should feel comforted. You should feel like you've been heard. We also have other supports in place in the Caregiver Support Program, and that is ongoing educational sessions and forums held throughout the year, relevant to different topics that might be important to you. We have powerful tools for caregivers, and we also have Educate, which is a virtual dementia training offered in person when COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Powerful Tools for Caregivers is a 6-week course that we offer. We actually start another one in January, and we have converted this to a virtual platform. This is a really important class. This one is solely for caregivers, but ultimately benefits the care receiver as well. Various self-care tools are discussed. They're small, intimate classes with no more than 8 people in a virtual environment. Classes are confidential, and they are co-led by staff from OAI. A lot of great things come out of this program. Our participants have found that through the program, they've improved relaxation. They manage their emotions better because there's a lot of emotions in caregiving. They improve their physical and mental well-being. It increases definitely their confidence in different caregiving situations. And through going through this course, they realize the importance and their ability to seek out and utilize all of our community resources. And while we're talking about planning, enough cannot be said about having important information prepared and ready when you or another care provider need it. Anyone that's involved in care for that matter. There may be times when we are unavailable, so having this information is crucial, not only to our loved one, but all involved in care. We might not always be available, so having a list of contact numbers, both emergency and non-emergency, physician, medical records, medication lists, but also having our advance directives and or a health agent in place is crucial. We can also include insurance documents and any other information that you feel is important in caring for your loved one. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is especially important for a caregiver's peace of mind. And there are many in our county that are ready and willing to help. Howard County Maryland Access Point, or MAP, is the first number I always list. They are our inroad to all of our community resources and services. And then, of course, the Howard County Caregiver Support Program. There's organizations like the Caregiver Action Network and also the Alzheimer's Association, which is available 24/7. Now, I would be remiss in doing you a disservice if I did not talk about stress and the effects, not just during these uncertain times. Caregiving under normal circumstances can be exhausting, but during COVID, there's definitely an uptick in the physical and psychological symptoms of stress. Everybody is all over the board. We can have anything from insomnia to headaches, depression. We encourage caregivers to recognize stress warning signs as early as possible. Most of us know what our triggers are and how we feel when stress is present, so we'd love for you to address those, because the results of neglecting stress can be detrimental. It increases our health problems, our relationships, most often leads to depression, and we definitely don't want to get to the point where we are burnt out. The results can be detrimental to your health and your relationships with others. This is probably the most important slide that I have in the whole entire presentation. It is true that no one can care for our loved ones like we can, but you're only human. Please take care of yourself. Avoid the burnout. Ask for help. Take a break, even if it's the smallest break. Take care of your own health by getting enough sleep, maintaining your relationship with others, and being aware of what actually stresses you. Ease the burden for yourself and your loved ones by making your wishes known and by planning whatever you may encounter along your journey. There really, truly is peace in a plan. You're not superhuman. Your care is definitely super, but you are only human. Thank you for everything you do. There are people and organizations in Howard County ready and willing to help. And the sponsors of this week's series are a great place to start. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any questions or if you have any things you wanted to follow up on with your presentation there.
There is, I just want everybody to know, in fact, I did a program yesterday on resiliency, and that would have been something great to add in here. It's about feeling supported. So I would encourage people to reach out. Even if you reach out to me with a question and I'm not the person to answer it, then I will find you the right person. But feeling supported is even more important right now. And so I encourage people to reach out and, and to think ahead, think what may come. We don't always want to think about what may come because we're so busy in the moment. But I do encourage people to do that. We really, at our office, we haven't skipped a beat. We're still providing all the services that we did before, just differently. So reach out.
Thanks. I'll give a moment to see if there are any other questions that folks want to write in. And I will actually share my screen again because I want to show you how you can get some one-on-one help. So if you do have any questions or you want to dig into a little bit more the caregiving programs that are offered, understand just what resources are available to you, this is the Get It Done Week website, and I will put this actually in the Q&A section here. Also, I'm seeing, can we have Kathy's email again? So
yes. Email and phone number, definitely. Any question at all, really.
What is your email again, Kathy? K where?
Yes, KWEHR at howardcountymd.gov.
howardcountymd.gov. Great. So putting that in the Q&A there. I accidentally moved it over to the answered section, but it's there. And I will also, let's see here, I'll walk through the Get It Done week. So what this is again, this is the website that shows you the different things on offer. We had financial and long-term care planning yesterday. We did record that webinar, and we'll send all of the webinars to anyone that registered for this week. So you will have a chance to access all of that information. Here's the caregiving. This is where you would sign up for time with Kathy today. So if you go to just speakeasyhoward.org/getitdone, you can click here to sign up for virtual help, and you'll see that Kathy still does have quite a few appointments today. Thankfully, she's given her time with us till 1 o'clock this afternoon. So feel free to go there and find a slot if you'd like some one-on-one time. And just a little plug, we do have some more sessions. We have housing options this afternoon. Health insurance basics is happening tomorrow. I believe at 11 o'clock is when the webinar starts for them. Thursday is a session on advanced care planning, and then also a session on conflict resolution. We know that often you have to kind of deal with some family issues before you start some of these planning sessions. And then a whopper on Friday, we've got wills, trusts, and powers of attorney on Friday. And each of these allows you to sign up for a webinar, as you did today, and then also sign up for one-on-one help with the experts who presented. So that's kind of the structure for the entire week. Feel free to take advantage of that. So
I focused on caregiving overall,
yes.
But I also work very closely with the Alzheimer's Association. So if there would be any questions relating to dementia or that topic, I'm free to answer those questions as well.
Thank you. So I had one question here, just finding out about these benefits now. Are there currently available or retroactive benefits to help compensate for salary loss of caregivers?
There is some things in the works with the CARES Act money, but it really depends on the company that you work for. But there is another, it's all part of it is part of the stimulus, and nothing has been put through for that yet that I know of.
Okay. And I'm gonna, as an answer to that question, put your email again. Yes. And then also put the website again. So if you do want to schedule for some additional time with Kathy, feel free to do that. Another question here, how does the seminar that begins in January work for those who live in a place, I'm assuming like the residents at Vantage Point?
Well, it's for caregivers. The class is solely for caregivers, so it's a toolbox of self-care tools. If you are a caregiver, even living at Vantage House, it's a virtual offering, which has really opened up our classes, and a lot more people are engaging because they don't have to come out to the class. So it doesn't make it, as long as you have computer access, it's a virtual offering just like this is, and you can enroll. We have one in January. I'm hoping one in February and 2 in the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions that folks have. Again, I did try to put both the link to Kathy's email and then also to the Get It Done page where you can sign up for more time today if you'd like. Okay. Kathy, as we wrap up, kind of any last words? I appreciate your note about resilience there. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I was hoping they would have recorded that. I could always record it and put it on your site. One of the 50+ directors for our virtual offerings, they said, we just want a joyful topic. So I was like, well, resilience is something that we all need. And I really enjoyed reading and researching about that, because resilience, everyone believes that we're resilient if we get through the really, really, really tough times, but we're all resilient. We've proven that this year. But it can be we can build our resilience, it can grow over time, and it's something that is part of our everyday lives. So resilience is a very joyful thing. We can strengthen it in many different ways. We talked about sensory copers, like just doing something really nice for ourselves. Someone said, yeah, just sitting on, it's nice resilience gives us the ability to approach things differently. It gives us a different perspective. So some of the coping mechanisms, which may seem very simple, is doing something nice for ourselves, taking a pause, sitting with a hot cup of tea on the couch, getting our favorite comfort food, whatever it may be, can make us feel more resilient and able to take on the next task. So when I talk to caregivers, I guess what I end up talking about is a lot about building those resiliency mechanisms in them, because, they deserve time too. They deserve to take that pause, and it helps give us perspective to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one last question here. We have a few more minutes. Are there local businesses who offer nicety perks to help caregivers rebound and or promote necessary self-care time? Great question.
Do they provide what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
A nicety perks, I'm guessing some type of support or, time maybe, or something that will help, caregivers rebound and do that self-care that you're mentioning.
Well, through the Caregiver Support Program, we offer the Family Caregiver Support Grant, which I said is it's a temporary gap filling type assistance, but we encourage caregivers to, it's non-means tested, to call and to apply, because this gives them a respite. This can give them a little bit of time that's taken care of through the grant, for someone to be with their loved one while they do something for themselves. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest perks that we offer. And we do encourage caregivers. I could never have anybody come in with my mom. And we say, just try it. Just try it. Give yourself some time. You work so hard. And they do. And often they find that it's just what they needed. There are organizations like the Village in Howard that offer they have lots of volunteers. Through the hospital, there's a volunteer support network. Everybody's working differently now, but everything can help. Often, well, actually, no, not often. Our most requested need for a caregiver is respite. Just a break. A break. It can be the simplest of breaks. It could be an hour or two, just time for yourself. But respite is the number one thing that everybody involved in caregiving is working on. There's emergency respite grants. We can't do it all. As caregivers, we just can't do it all.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that wraps up our questions, and we're about at 9:30, and I know you have an appointment at 9:30 to answer some individual questions. We're going to close out here, but again, I encourage folks to utilize the website to get more time with Kathy if you'd like to ask more questions.
And I have people that I talk to that I've been talking to the whole time that I have been in my job. Because like I said, no one's on the same place. So as they go through their journey, we talk about ways to approach things at different times. So I just encourage everybody just to reach out.
Yeah.
Just ask.
Use Kathy.
Get her.
Great resource. All right. Well, thanks for your time this morning, Kathy, and appreciate everything you shared. Hope everyone has a good afternoon. Again, join us for any of the other sessions this week and have a great day. Thank you.